recording. I gotta start recording. What's up, everybody? It's Wayland TV. Uh, Basically, I'm just getting into my NBA trade deadline reactions. If we didn't know, I am a Dallas Mavericks fan, so I mean the big one today was Anthony Davis. I felt like the Warriors made a big splash, like 39 minutes ago. Top headlines. Okay, let's look at this one first. Okay, so the Dallas Mavericks. Hmm. Oh, sorry, my lip is bleeding. Oh my God, have a cut on it. It's very annoying. Anyways. Ooh, it's cold. Okay. So the Dallas Mavericks have traded Anthony Davis to the Washington Wizards. And we also gave up Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, and Dante Exum. Three guys who didn't play for us. As much as I hate losing a guy like Jaden Hardy, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. This is a really hard one because in my opinion, I feel like we won the trade. But in a lot of people's eyes, people think the Wizards won the trade. And I think it's just so circumstantial, like who won the trade, and we'll find out as we go on deeper in the season and the off season and to into next season is when it's really important when everyone's fully ready. Like the Wizards are in like contend, like the Wizards can contend next year, in my opinion. Ooh, and I said it when they got Trey Young. Like I think this team could contend as soon as next year with all the young pieces they have and the core that they have built with Alex Sarr and you know, stuff like that. Trey Young coming onto the floor, being a 10 something, 10.8, I think, assists per game type of guy. And I know this about Anthony Davis. I mean, Davis coming onto the floor, I mean, if Davis can stay healthy, I think Anthony Davis is a top 10 player in the league when he's healthy. And I think that's not like, I feel like everyone agrees with me on that. But it's also like, is he going to be healthy for you? That's the question. And it's really hard to see if he's going to be healthy. So, like, it's like you don't really know. Like I don't really have words, but I mean, let's break down. I'll break down this trade for you. All right, let's read this report by Tim McMahon, from ESPN. The Mavericks have agreed to trade 10-time All-Star big man Anthony Davis to the Wizards in an eight-player blockbuster designed to maximize Dallas' flexibility to build around star rookie Cooper Flag. Sources told ESPN Shams Charania. The Mavericks will send Davis and guards Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, and Dante Exum. So I like getting off of Russell's money. Like this needed to happen. Russell needed to go, and I feel kind of bad for Russell because he really didn't get a fair shot with the Mavericks. But at the same time, Russell is just not. How do I? Russell's just not that good anymore. And I still feel like he has the potential to be a very solid guy off the bench for any team that he joins. But I just feel like he's like so shot happy. Like he gets the ball and he doesn't play like a traditional guard should. And I feel like in this league, especially with the Mavericks so desperately needed a traditional point guard to help Cooper Flag develop. And I felt like we just weren't getting that. And I feel like once we have a guard like Kyrie Irving on the floor, a championship winning guard who is a top 75 player of all time and stuff like that, I feel like with Irving, the Mavericks are going to succeed. I don't know if Irving's going to play this year. I feel like it'd be in his best interest to probably not. I want him to, like, I want to see, like, if we have him, we can play him for, like, the last 10 games of the season. It might ruin our draft a little bit, but just to see how he is with the young core that we have, or that the young core, I wouldn't even say young core that we have, the young core we're trying to build. But so that's what the Mavericks gave up, and the Wizards gave up Chris Milton, and I like Chris Milton. I feel like he can come and play that four for us, play that three, and like three behind Flag, of course, because Hoover Flags is going to be starting no matter what. But we can throw Middleton in at the four, and then I think Gafford gets traded tomorrow. He could even get traded like tonight. It's still possible. And then we got Johnson, AJ Johnson, which I love the fact that we got a young player like AJ Johnson. Malachi, no one really cares. Marvin Bagley, what could have been with Marvin Bagley. But the problem with, like, for me as a Mavericks fan with this trade is the two first round picks we got. So we got the Thunders this year, but the Thunder, I mean, the Thunders are good. Thunder's gonna be bare minimum a Western Conference Finals team, unless they get crazy upsetted. But the Thunder are like that pick is at the highest, in my opinion, going to be 26. Actually, no, it'd be 27th because they'd be the best team that got eliminated in that conference final. So I think like the highest I think the Thunder's pick is going to be is the 27th. And as you see down here where my mouse is at, the we got the Warriors pick in 2030, but it's top 20 protected, which I don't really like that, but it just shows how low the value for Anthony Davis truly was because of his injury status. I feel like it's very hard to buy into a guy like Anthony Davis, and this is why I like the move for the Wizards a lot. And it kind of sucks saying that, but it's such a low risk, high reward situation for the Wizards because if Anthony Davis can stay healthy, they could be the best team in the East. And I'm not even like I full confidently say they can be. I'm not saying they will be, but they definitely can be a top team in the East. But I kind of like this for both sides. And the main reason I like this for the Mavericks is not really the players that we got. I mean, Chris Middleton's a nice addition to the team. Chris Middleton's going to be a nice addition to any team he goes to, of course. He's a vet, he's a champion, he's very solid on both ends of the floor. But we save so much money, and I feel like we can use that money to build around Cooper Flag, who is looking like a generational talent as of late. So this is like a very huge get for us. And I'm a really big fan of the trade for both sides, and I think we won't true like right now everyone thinks the Wizards won, which is understandable, but I don't think we'll truly know who won this trade until the 2028-2029 NBA season. And if the Wizards are contending and they're an elite team that can win a championship that year, or if the Mavericks have built a young core who can also contend. So we won't really know, and it could be a win-win situation too, which I think it will end up being more of a win-win situation, but it just depends for the Wizards on if AD can stay healthy. But it's so different for AD walking into an environment where he's not just frowned upon for getting traded for a superstar. And I felt like that was the problem with Anthony Davis, and it wasn't his fault. Like that, what happened on February 2nd was heartbreaking for like all of us Mavericks fans. And I felt like we put a lot of the blame on Anthony Davis, and he didn't deserve it. But at the same time, it's just when you look at this and you look, dang, the Mavericks basically traded Luka Doncic to Chris Middleton. It's like, my goodness, it like this trade makes the Luka trade somehow look worse, which is unbelievable to say. But anyways, that's what I have to say about the Mavericks trade. I think this was the big trade of the day, so I had to start with it. Uh, yeah, Lonzo Ball becomes a free agent. Sixers trade Jerry McCain to the Thunder for fourth picks. I'm not even gonna click on that because I know the details of it. It was three second round picks, and then they got the Sixers got a first. And I feel like the Sixers did not give McCain a fair shot. And I know that yeah, as you can see in the video here, I know that VJ Edgecombe has been incredible this year and top three in rookie of the year. But I mean, Jared McCain was balling last year, and he had an unfortunate injury. But I feel like I think the Thunder won this trade because they got a young guy who I think can still be an elite player in this league for not that much value. Because once again, the Thunder are so willing to move first round picks, as you've seen with general manager Sam Presti, because he's built such an elite roster that those picks aren't gonna be lottery picks. Like like when he was building this roster, he was not willing to really give out a lot of first round picks unless they were way down the line, but now you can see he's kind of shipping these first round picks out to sweeten the pot for these other teams to think, "Wow, we're getting a first round pick. This is a steal." When I I love this trade for the Thunder, and I don't like the Thunder. I'm a Mavericks fan. You know, Thunder and Mavericks, they're close teams. No one really likes the way the Thunder play basketball. But I mean, just trying to be as unbiased as possible, it's hard to deny the upside that the Thunder can get with this deal. So I think the Thunder definitely won this trade. I give the Thunder an A plus, and I give the Sixers a C, maybe even a C minus. This wasn't that good. Let's click on this one because this one kind of shocked me. Bulls send Kobe White, Mike Conley to the Hornets for Colin Sexton and Ousmane Dieng. I don't even know how to say this dude's name. This dude Ousmane, why was he in the he Ousmane was Ousmane he was in the deal to make the money work. That's all he was for. So they're not gonna play him. Sexton on the Bulls won't really be a key contributor, but he'll come off the bench and give you a couple buckets a night. Kobe White, I don't know why the Bulls were so willing to get rid of Kobe White. And if you're gonna get rid of Kobe White, you need to get a better package. Because I feel like Kobe White is really solid. I think Kobe White is like, and I was gonna say he's gonna be a starter, but he's not going to be. And what's like, I feel like Kobe White can start on a lot of teams at the one spot. So this is weird. I didn't expect the Hornets to get Kobe White. I don't really like the Hornets getting Kobe White, but at the same time, they fleeced them. The Hornets fleeced them at the end of the day. So I still give the Hornets an A plus because they fleeced them. I mean, Mike Conley's just the vet you love to have around the locker room. But yeah, that was a fleece. I'm just be honest. Okay, this one was pretty big too last night. We expected this one, so this one wasn't shocking. And I think this is a win-win move again because the Clippers get a young guard who's going to be there for the long haul if he re-signs his contract whenever his contract ends, I think in 2027. And the Cavs get a guy in James Harden who is averaging 25 points per game, one of the greatest offensive players we've ever seen. Like I love this move for the Cavs. I feel like the Cavs could win as early as this year when Harden is on the floor, which Harden will be on the floor very soon for the Cavs within the next week. And Harden makes everyone around him so much better. Harden's a good facilitator. He spaces the floor real nice. I know he's the primary ball handler, so when say spaces the floor, I mean like he helps the space of the floor significantly. And he can go in there, he can get his own buckets. So he's a very nice he's such a well-rounded offensive player. His defense is not the best. Defense is not the best, but it's probably better than Darius Garland's. So, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're a Cavs fan, you're ecstatic. If you're a Clippers fan, you hate to see a guy like James Harden go, but at the same time, you're getting a young guard who I still think could be an elite guard in this league. So, you're you're kind of fine with this, and you get a second round pick on top of that from the Clippers, which, that doesn't matter really too much, but if you hit on a second round pick, then it's great. Second round picks are very hard to hit on. You can get a guy like Brownie James in there, but you know. The thing with the Clippers is like I know he requested a trade, but they were so hot that but I get where James Harden's coming from because I don't think the Clippers are going to win any like meaningful thing, so let's see. Hang on. Let's do this one. This one was pretty big. I was on my way back from my game when this happened. ESPN notification on my phone. Hang on. Nothing. It was a hockey. Okay. Sources: Warriors trading Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield to the Hawks for Kristaps Porzingis. Um, this was a huge win for the Warriors, and I feel like this was a huge win for the Hawks as well. Um, I'm very high. I'm a very big Jonathan Kuminga guy, and I feel like he can step in there and average 17, 18 points per game. Buddy Hield, I mean, Buddy Hield's an elite shooter. He's gonna space the floor real well, and if you leave him open, I mean, he's gonna hit shots. And yeah, once again spaces the floor out just really well. He doesn't really do anything else like at an elite level. He does everything else at a decent level. Like, but he's like a 3-point sniper out there. I feel like the Hawks could really use a guy like Buddy Hield. So I like what they got from the Warriors. And I mean, the Warriors getting Kristaps Porzingis is huge. That's a 7'2" guy. I'm not former Max fan. He's a former Maverick, and so I know a lot about Kristaps, of course. I love Kristaps Porzingis. He was one of my favorite players in that 2021 season that we had. And once again, I think this is such a win-win trade for both. The Hawks didn't want to pay Kristaps Porzingis, and the Warriors are fine with paying a 7'2" guy who can come in there. He can shoot the three real well. Uh, he can block shots. He can defend the post real well. Um, so it's a good move by both teams. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I don't like both these teams in my opinion get an A just because of how high I am on Jonathan Kaminga as a player. But I mean, yeah, so you see in this video, yeah, what does this mean for Giannis? Which is I think the fact that the Warriors trade for Kristaps signalizes that Giannis does not get traded tomorrow and he gets moved in the offseason. So I don't think we'll see Giannis play basketball for the rest of the season. I think he sits. I mean, maybe we see him trade tomorrow to a team like Miami, but I don't know what Miami would give. I feel like Miami would have to give a lot of picks up. But if Miami can get a guy with like Giannis with Tyler Hero, I feel like those picks won't be that great. I feel like they'll be in that 18 to 25th range, 24th range. Maybe not this year. So they might have to part ways with the this year's pick, and that could be a really nice addition for them. Uh, what else do we have here? Yeah, so Chris Paul got traded for a bunch of cupcakes. Traded to the Raptors, and the Raptors said they don't want him. Uh, what else? Hang on. Let me look up on here. Let me use AI and just see like. All right, here we go. These are the last 48 hours. Shout out to AI. Um, so we covered all these. Let's talk about this one. This one happened yesterday when I was in class, actually. Jaren Jackson Jr. to Utah. Huge move for Utah. And mm, real quick, um, wait. Sorry, this is easier than being on the app looking for everything. Um, okay, so the Utah Jazz received Jaren Jackson. Obviously, that's the star of this, right? John Concher, nobody. Vince Williams Jr. I like Vince Williams. I feel like Vince Williams is a pretty solid addition. And Jock Landale, once again, is not going to play for the Jazz. Yeah, Jazz. And then, so the Grizzlies get in return Walter Clayton, which I like getting Walter Clayton for the Grizzlies. And I think getting a young guard like Walter Clayton Jr. is signaling that they are going to trade John Morant tomorrow. I think John Morant will be gone tomorrow. Like, I think that's going to be the big one tomorrow is John Morant or Giannis, but I think John Morant will. I'm almost certain John Morant's going to get moved tomorrow, and if he doesn't, I'll be very shocked. Um, Taylor Hendricks. I like Taylor Hendricks. He's gonna play that 3 to 4 range real well. Decent shooter. So I mean, he's not nothing crazy. Kyle Anderson. I mean, he's old. He's on the older side. This is more of a salary dump by Utah. George Niang. I mean, he's okay. Once again, I feel like what got this deal done for the Grizzlies and what the Grizzlies wanted was a total rebuild. I think they're trading Jaw, right? I mean, that's pretty evident in my opinion. So what I think, and so they get these 3 first round picks from Utah, which I don't know if they're going to be crazy good either, because Jaren Jackson Jr. and Lauri Markkanen are in that front court at the same time. Walker Kessler will be back later in the season. So I feel like next year the Jazz are just going to be such a good defensive team. Jaren Jackson Jr. can shoot the ball well, so Jaren Jackson Jr. is a huge addition even for the offensive side of the ball. Um, I mean, the Jazz have Ace Bailey, a guy who I think is going to develop into an elite 2 to 3. And so I like this trade for Utah. Memphis, I understand from Memphis's side why they'd want to trade Jaren Jackson Jr. and just completely scrap the foundation that they had and just start over. I feel like they're one of the teams that desperately needed to. And three first round picks will make any deal look sweet unless it's Luka Doncic, but unless that's Nico Harrison trading him, then of course it doesn't matter. But that's not the point. Okay, so actually these are all different picks. My bad. I completely messed that up. So these are all different picks. So this does not matter on the Jazz performance at all. The Jazz can go 82 and 0 and these picks will still be pretty solid. The most favorable between Cleveland, Minnesota, or Utah. So they'll get the best out of this. Out of those three teams, they'll get the best. A pick swap, or no, not pick swap. A Los Angeles Lakers top four protected in 2027. They'll be a top 10 team in the league, so they'll get that pick around that 20th to 28th range. It just depends. 2031 Phoenix Suns unprotected first round pick. This one right here. This is the big one in my opinion. The 2031 first round pick, and I know that's a decent ways away. That's 5 years away, but it also depends on how good the Suns are going to be in 5 years. Devin Booker's going to be older. I feel like Dylan Brooks won't be on the Suns in 5 years. Uh, Suns don't really have like a necessarily crazy bright future. I feel like they're more of just a core that's built to win now in a hard Western Conference. That in maybe a Western Conference 3 years ago, they're a top three team, but now they're seventh, eighth seed. So this is Jaren Jackson Jr. stats here, but yeah, those are all the big trades, I would say. Uh, Deadline's at February February 5th, so that's tomorrow at 3 p.m. So when I'm in school tomorrow, my phone is gonna be going off. It's gonna be crazy. But I really do enjoy I enjoyed the trade deadline so much. And last year, it's hard to say the trade deadline was I mean, it's the greatest trade deadline of all time last year, and this one's shaping up to be pretty close to that one. But I mean, as a Mavericks fan, it's the worst day of my life and the worst trade deadline imaginable. But when I'm just speaking about an NBA fan, the shock factor and what goes into these trades, last year was insane. And I feel like this one's shaping up to be in that tier of trade deadlines. Like I know Luka Doncic's trade is like the most shocking trade in league history. And in my opinion, and I've said this multiple times, is the most shocking trade in professional sports history. When I found out that night, February 2nd at 11:50 p.m., right after Royal Rumble, right after I seen my childhood hero get eliminated from the Royal Rumble, and I seen Israel Adesanya lose that night too, and I love Izzy in the UFC, and then Luka gets traded. That was the most pitiful night of my life. But that don't even matter. That's not even what we're here to discuss. And there's I mean, there's guys that can get moved tomorrow. Trey Murphy, who just dropped 40 something, I think could potentially get moved tomorrow. A Giannis deal is not off the table. A Jaw deal is definitely on the table for sure. I think the Jaw deal will go down tomorrow. I think the Memphis Grizzlies are going to acquire so many picks tomorrow as well as they did yesterday. So, hmm, that's about it. I mean, Draymond Green could get traded. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Draymond Green's value is. I don't. It's not going to be crazy, but I mean, once again, a team could use a veteran guy who can go in there and play amazing defense. So, I mean, a Green deal. Hopefully, there's a blockbuster, like shocking one that I don't even mention, like like a superstar that doesn't expect to get traded, so that the Mavericks aren't alone, and another fan base can feel the pain, and it takes the attention off the Mavericks. Because when you talk about the NBA, still a year later, Luka trade is still like top of that discussion every time, and it's so heartbreaking. It sucks so bad. Yeah, that's what I think of the trade deadline so far. I think it's pretty interesting. I like the moves today. The moves today were pretty great. I enjoyed all the moves. Thank you for watching. Wayland TV here. Peace.